Good morning everyone and welcome to my channel English Literature. Today we are going to talk about the picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. You can fall it into gothic genre novel. Okay. I'm not sure if it is a book on art or character, or an everlasting conflict between human vices and virtues, or the pamphlet of the movement art for art's sake. Okay, you can discuss the novel The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde from all of these points. Art or character, the conflict between human virtues and vices, and the pamphlet of the movement art for art's sake. We all know that the movement art for art's sake and Oscar Wilde's involvement in it. So in this novel, these characteristics, we can discuss this novel from these characteristics. It is a fascinating phantasmagoria of human psyche, dark and hidden. Written in Baconian prose style and cryptic style, the language is not elaborate. You find the laconic style of language, and the preface introduces us to the intonation of the novel, though not the dark theme of it. Gradually it unfolds. There is no such thing as a moral or an immoral book. Books are well written or badly written. So there is no question of vices or virtues. The emphasis on the language or in the presentation of the book to the appeal to the reader. So this is the essence of arts for art's sake. Nothing is moral or immoral. A writer or an author has nothing to do with the society. He or she has no responsibility. He will just create, and its appeal to the reader will determine its value or quality, whatever it is. So no artist has ethical sympathies, and ethical sympathy in an artist is an unpardonable mannerism of style. Okay, it is unpardonable according to him. Okay, that is a arts for art's sake. The art will be created only for the art's sake, not keeping in mind that what will be the ethics, what will be the vices, what will be the virtues. So art will be just like an art, piece of art. We will judge it not from other point of views. The picture of Dorian Gray. The plot. Okay, now we'll talk about the plot. The story unfolds into the studio of a painter, Basil Hallward. You have to keep in mind, this is a very important character of the story. Basil Hallward's studio, and who narrates his obsessive love and admiration for Dorian Gray. So who is the painter? The name of the painter is Basil Hallward, and he has obsessive adoration for a young beautiful man who is Dorian. He is a representative of youth and vitality and beauty. And you know what? Dorian was totally oblivious of that. Okay, one thing I realize, or I feel that if a beautiful person become aware of his or her beauty, and then it just kills the innocence of the heart. Okay, I feel it that if a beautiful woman or man become aware of the beauty, that she is beautiful or he is beautiful, it just kills the innocence. And most of the beauty lies in the innocence of the person. And I feel that when I read this novel, I feel that this happens in these novels also. Dorian was totally oblivious about his beauty until Basil just admired it and portrayed him in the picture. And when he visualized his own beauty through the portrait of Basil's, he realized how beautiful I am. And that from that time comes the doom of his life. So human conscience has an eternal clash with the outer world, and the victory of vices over virtues marks the art, the inner beauty. Dorian, a naive soul. So what was Dorian? Dorian was a naive soul. He traverses this journey through the painting of Basil. So his journey starts with the painting of Basil. And the painting is his awakening as well as his doom. The painting is his awakening in the sense the painting makes him aware of his own beauty, And when he became aware of his own beauty, what happens? It just accelerates his doom. The lingering tone of intellectuality. Yeah, it is Oscar Wilde here, and no one can miss this tone. Highly intellectual connotation of language and speech. When you will go through this novel, you will find this interplay of intellectuality in language, word coinage, conversation between the characters and their ideologies. You will find that tremendous mark of intellectuality. The succinct prose style, precise locution, portraying the society. In a novel, this novel is just portrayed within society in the mirror of personal viewpoint. All are finely lubricated to save the artifice. The degeneration of Dorian's character, the marred beauty of the picture, or the deformity of his mentality, all makes me overwhelmed through their epigrammatic approach. The gradual doom of Dorian and the beauty that was gradually get marred with the accents, with the wrongdoings, with the wrong paths that the Dorian chooses, and with all the wrongs, with all the killing of the innocents, Dorian's beautiful pictures was gradually becoming dark and morbid. And that contradiction, you can say that Dorian is losing his innocence and getting experienced in a bad way, in bad sense, and in the way when Dorian is losing his innocence, his beautiful pictures is also losing its beauty. So here you can say that innocence and naive stands for beauty. So what I feel, when I read a novel, I feel that what I feel, I find that reflection in Oscar Wilde's thought. Oh, so great I am. Now come to the point. Dorian's picture. It is through this picture Dorian comes to know him. He was oblivion. He was naive. The masterpiece Basil creates through his inimitable brush strokes is Dorian. When Dorian looks at a picture, oh, it is I. And the real Dorian, he feels, oh, okay, I am not the real Dorian, but real Dorian is in the picture. So he just fall in love with the picture. He just forget who I am as a human being. He just fall in love with the picture. When Basil told him just to take a look at the picture he has drawn so laboriously, Dorian made no answer. Just read this quote, but passed listlessly in front of his picture and turned towards it. When he saw it, he drew back, and his cheeks flushed for a moment with pleasure. He just flushed. He flushed because he is observing his own beauty in the mirror. A look of joy came into his eyes as if he has recognized himself for the first time in his life. So for the first time in his life, he is recognizing himself, his beauty, unethereal beauty. And the thought of this evanescent beauty makes Dorian sad. So what makes Dorian sad? Dorian feels that I am beautiful in this picture, but one day I'll be no more beautiful. One day I'll be aged and I lose this beauty. So this makes the thought. So Dorian is at the same time happy and at the same time he is sad. He is happy at looking at the beautiful picture of him, and he is at the same time sad because he knows that this beauty is fading. The beauty is not permanent, it is transitory. Yes, there will be a day when his face will be wrinkled and wizen, his eyes dim and colorless, the grace of his figure broken and deformed. The scarlet would pass away from his lips and the gold still from his hair. The life that was to make his soul would mar his body. He would become dreadful, hideous and uncouth. Till there was no picture, Dorian was the Adam of Eden. Do you understand this, Rach? Dorian was Adam of Eden. Who was Adam and Eve? The first man and the first woman. They were innocents. They know nothing of this world. But when they just taste the fruit of knowledge, they become aware of this vicious world and they become experienced. They lose their innocence. So before the picture, Dorian was the Adam of Eden. But the self-portrait opens the door of knowledge. He confronts the gate and beauty of his soul. He loses his innocence. Now there is a culprit here, the Mephistopheles character, and he is Lord Henry Wotton. Lord Henry Wotton is typical Mephistophelian character. He is a dark character who manipulated and just destroyed Dorian. If Dr. Foster sold his soul to Mephistopheles for knowledge, Dorian's soul Dorian sells his soul to Lord Henry Wotton, or Harry. He is called named as Harry in short, for his youth. Harry is a good acquaintance of Basil. Basil knows the misanthropic, cynic and playboy mood of Harry. So Harry is a typical character who is what? He is cynic and a playboy type, and he is a misanthropic. That's why he was afraid of his influence on Dorian. And he again and again says Harry, but just don't spoil Dorian. Just don't go near Dorian. He just tried to keep Dorian and Harry aloof. But Basil cannot do that. Because Harry attracts Dorian, and Harry just leads Dorian to a life that is very interesting, pleasurable, and also frustrating. So that's why he was afraid of his influence on Dorian, and Dorian's ingenuous heart was easily gullible, and that was known to Basil. But Dorian was so naive that he cannot just dodge the influence of Harry. He cannot dodge the influence of Harry. And now what happened? Basil again and again requested, don't spoil him, don't try to influence him. Your influence would be bad. The world is wide and has many marvelous people in it. Don't take away from me the one person. So Basil loved Dorian genuinely, and he entreated Harry again and again not to spoil Dorian, not to just destroy Dorian. But Harry don't listen. Actually, it is Harry's habit to play with the character, play with the innocent character and just destroy them. Just like that there is children who play with the playthings and just grasp them. So what happened? But again, Basil's entreaty made it more fun for him. It is a game, I want to win the game, that type. Harry became more interested in Dorian. That Dorian I want to win, and he just want to make Basil humiliated, sad or destroyed. That's why he again became eager to destroy Dorian, to destroy Basil. So it is Harry who threw disdain in Dorian's love for Sybil. So he gradually poisons Dorian's mind towards Sybil. At first he poisoned Dorian's mind towards Basil. At first he poisoned Dorian's mind towards Basil. And then at the same time he also poisoned Dorian's mind towards Sybil. And who is Sybil? Sybil is Dorian's beloved. She is an actress. What's Harry said? My dear boy, no woman is a genius. And Dorian was in adoration with Sybil's acting quality. But Harry makes him understand, oh, nothing is so much in Sybil. Sybil is just an ordinary woman. You can get many more like this. So I am such a character, I am such beautiful, and I can get many women at the same time. So Sybil is just nothing to me. This thought, this poisonous thought, negative thought was imported in Dorian. My dear boy, no woman is a genius. Women are a decorative sex. They never have anything to say, but they say it charmingly. Women represent the triumph of matter over mind, just as men represent the triumph of mind over morals. So these wicked thoughts he imputed in Dorian's side. And what happened? Dorian left Sybil, just humiliate her, makes her heartbroken, and Sybil suicide. It is Harry who does not allow Dorian's conscience to agitate. So after Sybil's suicide, Dorian feels, what I am repentant, what I have done is not good. But Harry appeared and tell Dorian, no, you don't have to be sorry for that. You are not responsible for that. So the repentance, the conscience of human heart was also blocked by Harry. Okay. And what happened then? Basil's murder. Basil was also murdered. Sybil's suicide, Basil's murder, Alan Campbell's suicide, and the pathetic death of James Vane, and finally his own. So one after another death and murder was going on, and Dorian gradually became a monster. And what happened to Dorian's picture? The picture was gradually getting marred with brutality. So Harry owned the game, Harry owned the bargain, Harry owned the play. The novel begins with a portrait of Dorian and ends with it. The ending is so beautiful. Art is eternal, and it is folly on the part of the human to attain that eternity. Dorian wishes to preserve his youth. Dorian did not want to be aged, wrinkled. Wasn't. He wanted to be youthful for his whole life, in flesh and blood, even at the cost of the disfigured picture Dorian. All the evils of his soul marked the portrait. Whatever wrong he did, whatever was the evils in his heart, it was marked in the portrait. But his youth remained intact. His portrait was getting coarse, his portrait was getting bad. And that's why Sibyl's brother, when come to take revenge on Dorian, he cannot recognize Dorian, because Dorian was then, after so many years, Dorian is again youthful. So he cannot recognize Dorian because Dorian was youthful. He is killing everyone, he is murdering, he is making someone bound to get suicide. He is doing everything to keep his own youth. But what happened at the last moment? He easily dupes James Vane in his revenge, making him confused about his age. That is not discernible. So who is James Vane? And James Vane is the brother of Sibyl. James Vane is brother of Sibyl. And for James Vane's death, Dorian is responsible. The face of man he had sought to kill had all the bloom of boyhood. That's why James gets confused. James comes to kill him. But when he saw Dorian, Dorian asked, "I'm not Dorian whom you were searching. Do you think that I am the same man after so many years, same youthful?" And James became confused. How can a man be so youthful in his boyhood? All the unstained purity of youth. He seemed little more than a lad of 20 summers. So Dorian's youth was intact. But the tragedy cannot be detained. With the same knife he used to kill Basil, he stabbed the picture or himself. So Dorian killed Basil. The best person, the most wise person, the person who loves Dorian from his heart, and the best well-wisher. Dorian kills Basil, murders Basil. And then with the same knife, he stabs his own heart at the end. And when he will just kill himself, then what happens? Listen. When the servants entered the room, they found dazzling presence of an art piece, the picture of Dorian Gray. In reality, what was happening? That Dorian Gray's picture was getting gradually marred, bad. But when Dorian killed himself, his youth get oozed from his body and infused into that picture. So the picture became youthful and Dorian became old, haggard man. Do you understand that point? When Dorian kills himself, stab himself with a knife, his youth just gradually transcended to that picture. So Dorian became aged and wizened and wrinkled, and the picture became youthful. So this ending was just awesome. Okay, there is Alvina's verdict. I have told you it is taken from my blog, that is blogalvina.com. And in my school days I read the average story. From then I had a desire to read the novel. But it takes a long time till I one day find this copy in my dusty library itself. It is an unput-downable, stirring novel capturing variegated themes of the human psyche: vanity, extreme self-consciousness, hedonism, just enjoy the life, whatever you get, don't think anything, nothing is related to conscience, cold-blooded cruelty and hypocrisy. So these themes are discussed in this novel. The way Dorian's portrait reflects the dark soul. So Dorian's portrait is very important factor here. Dorian's portrait reflects the dark soul within Dorian. Dorian's character, Dorian's heart, the dark motive of his heart is reflected in his picture, and changes in the eyes of Dorian is super symbolic. Dorian represents the narcissist, hedonistic and self-absorbed, selfish generation. So Dorian is also symbolic and Dorian's portrait is also symbolic. In this dark theme, in its symbolic symbiosis with reality, Dorian Gray demands all our applause. Okay, so thank you. With picture of Dorian Gray, today is end our class.